All right, kids, we're back. So I want to keep up with doing 2 videos a week. So I wanted to do another little farm tour, just because a whole lot of stuff has changed, even this past couple weeks since I did the first one. I figured we'd start out in the cow pasture today. See everybody out here. Recently, a couple days ago, I came out here and trimmed some of this taller grass. They probably would have taken care of everything themselves, but if you can, well, you can't see the line now just because everything's trimmed down. There was a line in the pasture of where the original electric fence was that the horse broke through, that the horse had kept everything pretty mowed down. And this paddock that we're standing in right now had already grown up a little bit. So putting the cows in here, they spent most of their time on that already pre-mowed area, and a couple pockets out here where they had kind of mowed some stuff down. They would much rather, as you can see right there, eat all that fresh like grass that's coming up. That's what they're going to go to first over taller grass. So we came out here, we just with a lawnmower. We didn't go crazy. But I also put a cattle panel on the back and weighed it down, take care of some of this manure that's out here too, and spread it. That way we just don't have giant cow patties sitting out here. But these guys are doing great. They're super happy. Well, one is. Fred over here, the red one, we banded him probably about, it's been about a month or so now, and Fred has finally finished his transition, and we're being very supportive. So he's a steer now, and we don't have to worry about that. All 3 of these guys are steers. Cows have kind of taken a back seat in what we're doing here. I love having them. That's why we have them. And it's great to put the beef in the freezer. But going forward, what I'd like to do with this paddock is start running some polywire and separating out the paddocks and not having them be this big. That would take care of the issue of me having to come out and mow, because if they had a smaller area, they'd be able to completely mow down that whole area, move them, do the same thing over and over again. And that way it'll be able to regenerate a lot better. We're definitely trying to move towards the regenerative farming aspect. It's just a matter of finding the time, finding the money. So right now I'm enjoying the fact that I don't have to really worry about the cows much. They're in this size paddock. They're pretty much set it and forget it. And they have eaten down some of this hay that we put in. But again, they've had so much fresh pasture that they've barely touched it, which has been really nice. So we'll jump out of this pasture and head over to the pigs. We've moved everybody around. You can kind of see it over there now. We did another little pig fencing project. I'll come on this side of the pasture before I get in there. And this was kind of a out of nowhere, had the bright idea and got it done within less than a week. Didn't bother filming it, and naturally it was probably the best done fence I've done so far. And for anyone out there who's been doing big fencing projects, when that fencing budget runs out, you're doing whatever you can. So my corners are interesting, but we ran this thing nice and tight. It was nice we had the tractor, so I didn't have to do much. Senor's a little upset because he's on a diet. He's getting a little chunky, and with these lard breeds, if you don't kind of ration their food, it gets aggressive quick. So we're rationing his food just a little bit, so he's looking at me like, where the hell's the rest of my food? We'll jump in here in a second, but this was kind of a testing ground as well for how I plan on running the electric on the big pasture in the back. We'll take a walk out there too. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut you off. We'll pop back into the pig pen. So before we get into the pig pen, I did want to show you. So our hay is just about ready. This property used to be a horse farm, and they, from what I was told, they were getting some pretty decent hay off this, so good number of bales. But unfortunately, in the time it's gone from a horse farm to being foreclosed on to not being taken care of for a long time to now we have it. It is definitely better than it was. I will absolutely say that. We've hayed it the past 3 years. I think last year we got, I'd say probably around 140 bales, which for this is, so we hayed this field right here and the pasture behind us. It wasn't a full pasture yet when we hayed it last year. It was just fenced in because I didn't think I was going to get anybody to hay it. And unfortunately, we're kind of in that situation this year. I'm going to be figuring it out, and I've got some leads on what we're doing, but we'll get there. So I'm hoping we'll get some better hay coming in here in the future, looking at some different fertilizing methods. At some point, I'd like to fence off most of that and do some, again, regenerative farming on that aspect. Introducing some different techniques, maybe doing some biochar and stuff like that. It's one of those things, I'm diving into stuff that I don't have time to do, but hell, what are we doing? Our hospice horse, he's still kicking. Oh well. Yeah, so we'll come over here, we'll jump into the pigs. We've had to do some renovations in the pig pen, so to speak. Oh, and I will. So that is my redneck tractor setup. It worked pretty well, I'll be honest. When I do it next time, I'm going to be adding some more weight to the back just to keep it down and help everything spread a little bit more. So, in here in the pig pen, we have moved Tally to the back pen just because, as you can see, having them in here all winter has been pretty aggressive. We've been doing quite a bit to add wood chips, hay, stuff like that to try and soak everything up. But honestly, at the same time, it's a good thing. This area, and you'll see it once we get into Tally's pen she's in now, it's still very sandy over here. It's not like the rest of the field that has had the time to have some soil grown over it. So building the soil has been pretty nice. We've also had like a solid week of rain. So everything's just been a mess. I know. So Tally's getting big. She's due, I think, August 20th, if I remember correctly, is the date she's due. So we are patiently awaiting those piglets. It should be pretty interesting. But she's getting big. She's a good girl. I know. She's already turned most of this pen into mud soup. But again, like I said, we're doing a lot to try and bring this soil back. We got some mulch bales that they play with. Our neighbors bring over some wood chips that they get from some local wood processors. So things are going well. But she's still super playful, super fun. She's a big ham. But we'll back up a little bit. She's getting big. So we are, like I said, patiently awaiting them. She's a big puppy dog. So I have not decided whether or not we will be carrying over any of our piglets from the pigs we're going to be getting in July. I would like to, but I got to get out of here. Get back. I know. Oh, you're all over the place. Sorry, guys. And I will show you after the fact. I had to do some renovations to this little hardwire fence that was here, which was, I think it was like my third or second video I did. Senor was not too pleased to be in here by himself. And he's about 400 pounds of bulldozer. So we first added an electric line. And then I found out after he busted through the fence that the line that I connected that electric line to was not connected to anything. So it wasn't hot. So that was super fun. We added some of these boards just to make sure. These things are freaking tanks and they will bust through whatever they can. Luckily, they're smart enough and dumb enough that they don't like electricity. So this is our new little paddock that we built. Again, it was one of those situations. I was trying to figure out a good spot to put Senor, and I just couldn't think of one, couldn't figure one out. And then I looked, and I already had a corner here that I would only have to run 2 lines of fencing. So he's enjoying his new paddock. He's only been in here about a week, I'd say, and he's already done a pretty good job of tearing everything up. But that's a pig. That's what they do. I'm one of those people, I thoroughly enjoy making pens and doing stuff like that. And if you're raising animals long enough and you're building enough paddocks, there's always that one that's like your favorite. And for some reason, this one's my favorite. It's just a nice little spot, nice shady under these trees. And it just kind of gives him some more room to move around where I don't really have to worry about him. The nice thing about this pen is also it's connected to the other 3 pens. So God forbid I wanted to do something, I could just throw a gate on, open it up and toss everybody in. Luckily, I don't think I'm going to have to really worry about that. So the only thing that's going to be interesting is going to be if I need to get him out into a trailer, he's going to have to go into the main paddock. But you know what? We'll deal with that when we get there. But he's just a big old puppy dog, this guy. I know. It's all right. He is definitely lost his winter coat. He's balding a bit. He looks pretty aggressive when winter rolls around. He's got his winter coat. Again, the reason we picked him is because we are looking to try and breed a pig that is going to do really well in these New Hampshire winters, and not just like survive the New Hampshire winters, but really like thrive. So, and put some weight on, because if I don't have pigs on the ground, I don't got meat in the freezer and I don't got money in the bank. So we're really putting a lot of time and energy into this pig program. So we'll see how it goes. It's going to be interesting. Like I said, she's due August 20th. I'm pretty excited to see how her, even the coloration of them, it's going to be interesting. The one thing I do really love about him, so I'll set you up down here. So he is Ocelot Island Hog and Mangalitsa 50-50 cross. So he does not have the curly Q hair that the Mangalitsas usually have. He has the Ocelot hair, but it's just crazy super long. And he just looks like something that's going to come out of the backwoods of Louisiana and kill you. So another cool thing about this pen, like I said, I was doing a lot of testing when it came to this pen on how I wanted to run the electric for that back pen. And I really like how this came out. So with this, these are just T-posts that I rammed basically halfway into the ground for added support. And you can pick these up at Tractor Supply, any grain store you go to. They wrap around the T-post and you can put the electric fence through them. And what I was able to do is just run a really, really, really taut line with that fence stretcher. Fence stretcher came out really nice. He hasn't tested it. He hasn't played with it. Because as you can see, there's quite a bit of debris and trees and stuff like that. I purposely left a lot of it in there so he had something to do while he was here. But even if he tosses something over onto it, it's not gonna completely go to the ground and snap. It'll still hold its rigidity. And with this, I just have the fiberglass push poles down with some of the screw-on insulators, and those work fairly well, especially for this type of setup. Like, they're not really supporting anything. They're just kind of there to keep it up off the ground. On this back pasture, which we're going to head to in a little bit, they are, I have, what is it, 3/4 inch metal conduit, like electrical conduit. So we're going to be cutting those down into 3-foot sections. And we have a different type of insulator that I'm hoping is going to work a little bit better. I don't love these screw-on ones because they get a little wonky over time. Again, they work well for what we're doing. I'm not too worried about it. I have not decided yet whether or not I'm going to be doing 2 lines or 1 line of electric in that back pasture. He's doing really well in here on 1 line, so that's one thing, but he's also an older pig that has been on electric most of his life, so he's not going to test much. So we'll see how it goes, but there will be an electric fence video coming up next week, probably around later in the week. But this was a good test. I really like how it all came out. Going forward, I'll probably give less room between the electric fence and the fence. I'll be honest, I was running ragged trying to get this done. It was one of those projects I didn't plan on doing, but once I did it, I needed to get it done, because he kept breaking out of this other pen. So yeah, it's never ending, always fun. I'm gonna go out to that back pasture, so we will see you back there. Before we end up back there, I don't know if it is creativity or laziness. I hate running hose. So we did a little MacGyvering for his water out here, because I knew it was going to be a pain in the butt to run a hose through the cow pasture. The cows are going to be playing with it, or run through the pig pasture. It was going to be a pain in the butt and get all dirty every time I did everything. So we have it along the fence line, and it goes all the way over there, which is perfect because it's right next to where I put the hose in for the cows. So again, did I need to do it? No. Could I have run a hose every couple days? And honestly, with him off a 55, actually that's a 60-gallon barrel, he's not going through 60 gallons super quick. So, but I had the extra hose just because I live in New Hampshire. We have broken hoses constantly. So we made it work. I have to fill Tally's water. So I'm going to go ahead, like I said, pop you off. And this time I promise we're going to be in the back pasture. All right, kids, we're back. So probably the last time we were in this pen, we were building this structure right here. So I have some ideas on how I'm going to secure this a little more. We're going to put film in here. We are going to put a board across this that I can actually hook these gates to, just to have some added security. More than likely, I'm going to put 2 strands of electric in this one, just because, like I said, it's going to be holding pen, training pen, all of the above kind of thing. Another thing I do plan on doing is we're going to be putting a gate, more than likely right about here. So we have the super fun of having piglets coming next month and piglets being born in August. So we're going to have 2 different sets of piglets at separate ages, which is always super fun trying to figure out where everything's going to go. I am hoping that they grow at a decent rate, that I'll be able to open this gate up and be able to have them come in here with the 5 Herefords that we're getting. I feel as though this is a big enough space that it should be fine and there won't be much fighting. As you can see, it's definitely grown in a bunch since we've been in here last time. And like I said, I'm very confident with that fencing or electric fence setup. So I'm actually looking forward to running electric on this one. Again, it's only 2 strands, so it's not going to be too crazy. And we already have all of the wire that we pulled off of this fence, or off of this paddock, when we put it up in the first place. So everything's rolled up over there on the hose reel that, again, I don't know how it worked so well. But the fence settled in really nice. Not much movement in anything, so I'm not too worried about it. I haven't figured out what I'm doing for a shelter in here yet. Probably for a little while until I can figure something out. They have this whole tree line. I'm not super worried about it. Same with Senor. Senor doesn't have a shelter yet. That is coming, just because he is a little more exposed where he is. But yeah, we're just trying to figure out as we go along. And like I said, I'm trying to keep up with at least 2 videos a week. So we had done so much here that I figured it was worth it coming out here, walking around for a little bit. It's a nice night. I think we got a rain coming, so wanted to jump out before that. But yeah, things are happening, things are changing. We got a lot of stuff done. We have a lot of stuff to do. So I am pretty excited about it. Next week, I think either tomorrow or Tuesday, I got a really nice beef we're doing. So now I'm going to start breaking down. Oops, someone touched the fence. I am going to start actually breaking down primals, like just the primals. We're not going to be doing like a half beef or a whole beef breakdown. I think more than likely what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a rib primal tomorrow. So we're going to do a full breakdown on that, a lot less time lapse and a lot more in-depth. This is what we're doing with it. I definitely wanted to knock out all of the full breakdowns to try and figure it all out, one just for me. But it's hard to I will say it's pretty hard to figure out how to put a half a beef breakdown in a 40-minute video. So now that that's done, we're going to start doing some more smaller breakdowns, a lot less time lapse, a lot more talking and kind of talking everyone through it. So I hope you guys enjoy, and we'll catch you next time.